Today's show is really about seigniorage. And I think it's something that gets very, very, very overlooked, but it's really why I can show you definitively that the true value of the dollar or any government debt-based money, any of this stuff is actually worth zero. So I know a lot of you have heard that the penny was going away, but today I'm going to pull back that curtain because dollars, we think of them like they have actual value, that they're safe and that they're secure. Well, we work for them, we save them, we build our lives around them. But today I'm going to show you what's really happening, who benefits, and how you can protect yourself before the next chapter is written without you. Because it is. And I just recorded a video on stablecoins and that movement. We'll be talking about those a lot as we move into the future. But we're talking about this headline that New York Fed says net income could be negative through most of 2025. And I have to tell you, it really should stop you dead in your tracks because this is the third year in a row. So I want you to really think about that and look at this graph that shows you that the Fed, who is responsible for printing our money and creating our digital money and managing the economy, well, they're losing money again. In 2024, they posted a $74.7 billion loss. In 2023, it was $117.2 billion. Why? Why should they have a loss? Because they're paying out more interest than they're earning on their assets. This is why they're saying they're at a loss. But I have to remember, we all have to remember that the Fed has a near total monopoly on money creation. It's called seigniorage. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But this isn't just bad accounting, what we're seeing here. This is a bright red warning light that the system is under pressure and it's breaking. We're at the end of this fiat money's life cycle. And here at Zang Enterprises, we help you build that lifeline with a personalized gold and silver sound money strategy. So let's go on to the seigniorage because it's very important that you understand this. Nobody does, and yet you should. I mean, we kind of know about it, but it's kind of hidden. So what is that? Well, it's easy. It is the profit the government makes when it creates money. It costs just a few cents to print a $100 bill, but they spend it like it's actually worth $100. And then over time, obviously, it's not. What's left over, though, after they spend for the cost of the printing is pure profit. But of course, when too much money is created, prices rise faster than they want so that you notice it. And there's your inflation. So while they profit, you lose purchasing power, and most people don't even see it happening. Frankly, this is the same darn thing they did when it became that when the gold was more expensive than the face value of the coin. Remember, this had a $20 face value. What'd they do? They took the gold out of the system. When the silver became more valuable than the face of the coin in 1965, they took the silver out of the system. Then when the copper became too expensive, they took the copper out. So what the central banks are really doing is replacing sound money with money that has less and less value. I mean, it's really actually pretty interesting when you think about it. And it's sneaky because one looks like the other. Why do you think that they make these cryptocurrencies gold? Because they want you to think of them just like this, but this is even less expensive to create once you have the system in place. But according to the Federal Reserve, it costs 3.2 cents to print a $1 bill. That's a 96.8 cents in profit from a $1 bill. Well, a $100 bill, it costs 9.4 cents. Now, I'm not really sure why it should cost more with the ink and the paper, but okay, these are their numbers, so I'm going to go with them. But that is a $99.91 in profits out of a $100 bill. Now, can you see why the dollar's purchasing value keeps falling? Because there's no value in this money. I want you to take a look at this. The total cost to print 112 trillion, almost let's just say $113 trillion in physical bills was 286. All right, we'll give it 286 billion. That's a huge profit. Why are they losing money? Because here it gets even more complicated. I'm not going to get into it too terribly much, but there is a lot more to this. But they create this money out of thin air, and then they turn it into debt, and they get to charge interest on that money that they created out of thin air. But the dollar's march to zero is obvious. And just like that, the Fed's own chart shows your dollar's value in a steady slide to zero. That, my friends, is the seigniorage in action. An invisible tax on your savings that pushes the purchasing power value toward the dollar's true fundamental value of zero. It's on their chart. It's on their graph. It's absolutely true because it costs nothing to create. And digital dollars, even cheaper to create and much, much easier to control. And because gold is recoverable, that energy can be reused again and again and again and again. It is not rocket science. It is just the true law of supply and demand. This stuff, any of it. This stuff is used in one place. This stuff is used in one place. This stuff is used every place. That's why it hasn't lost its value over time. It stores the energy that can be reused over and over and over again. But frankly, here's the bigger reason why gold and silver have stood and stand above all governments and all central banks. No other asset class has that kind of functionality and that level of demand. Again, one place, every single place. This is your bazooka. We're going to fight. And I think we're going to win if we come together in this sound money movement and demand redeemable gold be in the system again. We can do this. And until next we meet, please be safe out there. Bye-bye.